Hi, so good morning. So ngayon ay we're going to talk about the House bills and the Senate bills and what is the difference of those bills in the Philippines. So ang House bill ay isang panukalang batas na unang inihain sa House of Representatives o Kongreso. So, yung gumagawa nito ay yung mga congressman or yung mga party list representatives. So, kapag may nakitang problema sila sa lipunan o may isang miyembro ng House of Representatives, pwede siyang gumawa ng sarili nilang or gumawa ng House Bill upang magmungkahi ng solusyon or ng bagong batas. Then, samantala, ang Senate Bill naman ay panukalang batas sa unang hinihahain naman ng Senado ng Pilipinas. Ang mga senador ang naghahain nito. So, katulad ng House Bill, ang layunin din nito ay gumawa o magbago ng batas upang matugunan ang mga issue sa bansa. So, pareho silang dumadaan sa proseso, yung House Bill at Senate Bill, bago sila maging ganap na batas. So, kailangan muna nila itong pag-aralan, talakayin, and aprobahan ng parehong House of Representatives at Senado, at pagkatapos ay syempre pipirmahan ng Pangulo ng Pilipinas upang maging ganap na batas. So, ano ang pinagkaiba nilang dalawa? Ang pangunahing pagkakaiba ay kung saan sila unang inihahain. And kapag yung panukalang batas ay nagsimula sa House of Representatives, ito ay tinatawag na House Bill. So kapag nagsimula sa Senado, ito naman ay tinatawag na Senate Bill. Then ang isa pang pagkakaiba nila ay yung mga taong naghain nito. So yung House Bill ay gawa ng congressman habang ang Senate Bill naman ay gawa ng senador. Pero kahit magkaiba ang pinagmulan nila, pareho pa rin ang layunin nila. So, ang layunin nila ay gumawa ng batas para sa ikabubuti ng buong bansa at ng mamamayan. And now, we're going to talk about the House Bill number 6717. So, what is House Bill number 6717? So, House Bill number 6717 ay isang panukalang batas na naglalayong suspindihin ang paggamit ng mother tongue o katutubong wika bilang pangunahing medium of instruction mula sa kindergarten hanggang grade 3 sa ilalim ng Republic Act number 10533 o ang Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. Ang pangunahang batas na ito ay hinihain ni na Representatives Roman Romulo at Mark Go noong December 15 at 2022. So, yung buong pangalan ng batas na ito ay an act suspending the implementation of the use of mother tongue as the medium of instruction for kindergarten to grade 3. So, ginawa ang House Bill number 6717 dahil maraming guro, magulang o estudyante yung nakaranas ng hirap ng pag-implement nito or ng pag-implement ng Mother Tongue Based Multilingual Education o MTB-MLE. So, ayon sa mga sinusuporta ng panukalang batas na ito, marami pa ring problema na na-discover o dumitaw simula nung ipatupad yung paggamit ng mother tongue sa mga paaralan. Isa dito ay yung pangunahing problema ay ang kakulangan ng learning materials ay yung mga libro, yung modules na nakasulat sa iba't ibang lokal na wika. And then, maraming dialect or language kasi ang meron sa Pilipinas, kaya medyo nahirapan ang DepEd na gumawa ng sapat o tamang materyales para sa bawat lugar na may kanya-kanyang dialekto. So, bukod dito, marami ring guro na nahihirapan magturo gamit ang mother tongue dahil hindi sila tapat or well-trained enough na or familiar sa local na wikang ginagamit sa kanilang designated area. Then ang ilang rehiyon naman, syempre may iba't iba silang dialect. So tulad natin dito sa Isabela, sa province natin, meron tayong iba't ibang mga lengguwahe, mga dialekto na tulad ng Tagalog, Ilocano, Gaddang, Ibanag, whatsoever. So dahil dyan, medyo mahirap. And then, ayun din, may mga ulat na mas nahihirapan din yung ibang estudyante kapag lumipat na sila sa paggamit ng English to Filipino dahil syempre, pag mataas na baitang, mas nasasanay sila sa mother tongue nila kaysa sa ibang mga grade levels. So dahil dito, isinulong ang House Bill number 6717 upang ano yun? Pansamantalang ihinto ang implementasyon ng mother tongue based education habang pinag-aaralan kung paano ito mapapabuti. And now let's proceed to the key provisions of the House Bill 6717. So here are the following important information about the House Bill number 6717. So una, kaya ito sinuspindi dahil sa paggamit ng mother tongue bilang pangunahing medium of instruction mula kindergarten hanggang grade 3. So, pangalawa, ang layunin nito ay ibalik ang dating Filipino at English bilang pangunahing wikang gagamitin sa pagtuturo sa mga nasabing baitang or yung mentioned nga na kindergarten to grade 3. And then pangatlo, pinibigyan diin ng panukalang batas na ito na dapat masiguro muna ng pamahalaan na sapat yung learning materials, yung mga libro, then training sa mga guro at maayos na sistema bago tuluyang ipatupad muli ang MTB MLE. And then pang-apat ay kinilala rin ng panukalang batas ang na mahalaga pa rin ang katutubong wika at kultura. So kailangan daw muna na ayusin yung paraan nila ng pag-implement bago tuluyan na ipanukala ito para hindi maapektuhan yung quality of education ng mga bata. And then, noong February 2023, naaprubahan na ito ng House of Representatives at pinadala sa Senado para sa karagdagang pagtalakay, pero ayun, pending pa rin siya. And then, ano nga ba ang impact ng House Bill number 6717? So, maraming sektor ang naapektuhan ng House Bill number 6717. So, yung una dito ay yung mga estudyante, yung kindergarten to grade 3 dahil kapag naisa batas ito, pwede silang masanay na gumamit ng Filipino at English agad bilang pangunahin nilang wika sa pag-aaral. And then, ikalawa naman ay yung mga guro. So, maaaring mabawasan ng kanilang paghahanda sa pagsasalin ng kanilang mga aralin sa mother tongue and also to mabawasan yung kalituhan nila sa pagtuturo. And then, ikatlo, the Department of Education will need to change their curriculum, their learning materials, and their training programs. And then the fourth one is yung mga lokal sa komunidad or the cultural groups. May ilan naman doon na sumusuportan sa batas dahil naniniwala sila na mas magiging madali ang pag-aaral ng mga bata. Pero meron din namang against with it dahil baka raw mabawasan ng pagpapahalaga sa mga katutubong wika at kultura ng bansa. And then, bakit mahalaga ang House Bill number 6717? So, mahalaga ito dahil direktong konektado ito sa kalidad ng edukasyon ng mga batang Pilipino. So, yung education nila ay yun yung pundasyon nila sa kinabukasan nila. At kung hindi epektibo yung pagtuturo or the way of the teachers teaching the child, it can affect the quality of the education and also wala masyadong matatandaan or wala masyadong makukuhang information or knowledge yung bata. Diba? And then, ang layunin din nito ng panukalang batas na ito ay humanap ng mas epektibong paraan ng pagtuturo upang mas maintindihan ng mga bata ang kanilang mga aralin, at maging handa sila sa paggamit ng Filipino at English na mas mataas sa antas ng pag-aaral. And then uh, the the most important thing is yung quality of education talaga at pangangalaga sa kultura, sa mga katutubong wika at kultura ng Pilipinas. And then the last one ay pinapakita ng House Bill number 6717 na mahalaga itong ituloy, na kailangang suriin ng mabuti upang magkaroon ng tiyak na matutugunan nito sa pangangailangan ng estudyante at ng guro. So this is the House Bill number 6717, and I hope you learn things about it. And then let's proceed to the another House Bill or Senate Bill.
Good day everyone, I am John Miles Abat, and today I will discuss House Bill number 4832 of the 16th Congress, also known as the Moro History, Culture and Identities Studies Act. So before anything else, let us first understand kung paano ba ang House Bill. A House Bill is a proposed law na ipinapasa sa House of Representatives. Dumadaan ito sa different process like reading, discussion, and approval bago ito maging official law. So, now let's move on House Bill number 4832. Ang House Bill 4832 ay isang proposed law sa Philippines na naglalayong idagdag ang Moro History, Culture and Identity Studies bilang elective subject sa college and universities. Meaning, student in higher education can choose to study more about the history, culture, tradition, identity, and contribution of the Moro people in the Philippines. So, pero bago natin maintindihan fully ang bill na ito, sino ba ang Moro people? The Moro people are Muslims, ethno-linguistic people group mostly found in Mindanao, Sulu, some part of Palawan, and mayaman ang kanilang kultura, tradition, belief, and history, and malaking part sila ng identity ng Pilipinas. However, despite their contribution, marami pa ring Pilipino ang hindi gaanong familiar o may kulang na understanding tungkol sa kanila. So now let's talk about why this bill was created or its background. So ginawa ang House Bill na 4832 because maraming Filipino ang may limited knowledge about Moro communities because of lack of awareness. Minsan nagkakaroon ng misunderstanding, stereotypes, and discrimination. Some people only associate Moro communities with conflict in Mindanao without understanding the real history, culture, and contribution. Kaya naisip ng government na one way to solve this problem is through education. Kasi kapag mas educated ang tao tungkol sa isang culture, mas nagiging understanding, respectful, at open-minded sila. Ang goal ng bill na ito is to promote respect, peace, and unity among Filipinos through learning and awareness. Now, let's move on key provisions or ano ang laman ng bill. First, the bill proposed na magkaroon ng Moro history, culture, and identity studies sa college and universities. The subject aims to teach students about history, tradition, belief, customs, and contribution of Moro communities. Second, this subject will be an elective course, meaning optional siya. Hindi siya required subject, but student can choose if they want to take it. This gives students the opportunity to learn and explore more about culture diversity in the Philippines. Third, ang CHED or Commission on Higher Education ang magiging responsible sa implementation ng bill na ito. Sila ang mag-handle ng curriculum and guidelines para maayos itong maituro sa school and universities. Another important of the bill is that is promote intercultural understanding, meaning hindi lang ito about learning facts or history, but also about helping students understand and respect people from different culture and backgrounds. Now, let's discuss the importance of this bill or sino ang maapektuhan nito. First, are the college students because they will gain more knowledge and awareness about moral, culture, and history. Through these students may become more respectful and understanding towards communities. Second are the schools and universities since possible silang mag-adjust ng curriculum at mag-prepare ng learning materials if the subject will be offered. Third are the Moro communities themselves because their identity, tradition, and contribution will be more recognized and appreciated. Mas makikilala sila ng ibang Pilipino in a positive and educational way. And lastly, the general, public or society will also benefit kapag mas maraming informed and educated people, mas mababawasan ang stereotypes and discrimination. This can help improve relationship among Filipinos and promote peace. Now let's move on to the importance of this bill, which is one of the most important part of our discussion. Important House Bill number 4832 because it promotes education, culture awareness, and national unity. Since the Philippines is a diverse country with many cultures and ethnic groups, malagang matuto tayong maintindihan at respetuhin ang isa't isa. This bill is important because it helps students gain deeper understanding of the Moro people, their history, tradition, and identity na madalas ay hindi masyadong natatalakay sa school. Malaga rin ito because it helps reduce misunderstanding, stereotypes, and discrimination. Minsan kasi people judge other dahil sa lack of knowledge or wrong information. But through proper education, people can learn facts and became more understanding instead of depending on assumption. Another important of this bill is that promotes peace and inclusivity, especially in country like in the Philippines where different groups of people have different beliefs and tradition. Kapag mas maintindihan natin ang isa't isa, mas magiging peaceful at united ang society. Lastly, this bill also helps preserve Moro culture and identity by teaching it in school. Future generation will continue to learn appreciate the contribution of Moro communities to Philippines history and society. So overall, this bill is not only about adding subject in school, but also about promoting understanding, respect, peace, learning, and unity among Filipinos. To conclude, this House Bill number 4832 is important proposed law because it helps educate people, preserve culture, and strengthen unity in the Philippines. Through education, we can create a more understanding and respectful society. And thank you.
How bills are created. Many people follow laws every day, but not everyone understands how these laws are actually created. Before a proposal becomes an official law, it must pass through a long and careful process to ensure that it truly benefits the other people. This process is important because laws affect our rights, education, safety, economy, and daily lives. Every law begins as an idea, but only the best and most necessary proposals successfully pass through Congress and becomes law. Let us first discuss how bills become law. The process begins with filing. A senator or representative creates and submits a proposed bill. This proposal contains a solution to a national problem or a plan to improve existing laws. After filing, the bill goes to the first reading. During this stage, the title and bill number are read, and the bill is assigned to the proper committee for review. Next is the committee hearing. This is one of the most important parts of the process because this bill is carefully studied and evaluated. Government officials, experts, and sometimes ordinary citizens may share their opinions and recommendations. If the committee approves the bill, it is scheduled for the second reading. During the second reading, lawmakers debate the bill. They discuss They discuss its advantages, disadvantages, and possible effects on the public. Amendments or changes may also be suggested to improve the proposal. After the discussion, voting on the second reading takes place. If the majority approves the bill, it moves to the third reading. In the third reading, the final version of the bill is presented. Lawmakers vote again, and if approved, the bill is sent to the other chamber of Congress. For example, if the bill started in the Senate, it will go to the House of Representatives. The same process happens again in the other chamber. Once both chambers approves the exact same version, the bill is submitted to the President in Malacanang. The President may sign the bill into law, veto it, or allow it to lapse into law without signing. This entire process shows that creating laws is not simple. It requires careful study, debate, and cooperation to ensure that laws are fair, effective, and beneficial for the nation. Now, let's move on to the Senate Bill 2457. Senate Bill 2457 is an example of a legislative proposal introduced in the Senate during the 19th Congress. This bill represents the role of senators in identifying problems in society and proposing solutions through legislation. Like all Senate bills, it must go through the complete legislative process before it can become a law. Senate Bill number 2457 reminds us that laws are not created instantly. Behind every bill are discussions, research, debates, and decisions that aim to protect public welfare and promote national progress. It also shows the importance of responsible leadership. Senators are expected to create bills that respond to the needs of the people and improve the lives of Filipinos. As citizens, understanding Senate bill is important because these proposals may directly affect our future, rights, opportunities, and responsibilities. Laws influence education, healthcare, employment, technology, public safety, and many other aspects of society. By learning how bills become laws, we became more informed citizens who can better understand the actions and responsibilities of our government. To conclude, the process of how bills become law is an essential part of democracy in the Philippines. It is not just a simple procedure, but a carefully structured system that ensures fairness, transparency, and accountability in lawmaking. Every stage, from filing, committee decisions, readings, debates, and approval, plays an important role in refining ideas and making sure that only well-studied and necessary laws are implemented. This process also highlights the importance of participation and representation in government. Our senators and lawmakers are entrusted with the responsibility of voicing the concerns of the people and transforming these concerns into possible solutions through legislation. In this way, every law that is passed is meant to reflect the needs, challenges, and aspirations of Filipino citizens. Meanwhile, Senate Bill number 2457 serves as a concrete example of how ideas are introduced into the legislative system and carefully evaluated before becoming part of national policy. It shows that every bill begins as a proposal but only becomes a law after passing through critical review and approval from different branches of government. Ultimately, understanding how laws are made helps us become more responsible and aware citizens. It allows us to see that government actions are not random, but are based on a process designed to protect public welfare and promote national development. As citizens, being informed empowers us to participate more meaningfully in society, to understand our rights and responsibilities, and to recognize the impact of legislation on our daily lives. In the end, lawmaking is not just the work of lawmakers. It is a reflection of the people they serve and foundation for building a more just, orderly, and progressive nation.
Good day everyone, Charles Ordanza here, and I'm going to report about Senate Bill number 173. So what is Senate Bill 173? So Senate Bill number 173 is a proposed law in the Senate of the Philippines that aims to protect the traditional knowledge, cultural expressions, and genetic resources of Filipino communities, especially indigenous peoples. The bill was filed by Senator Francis Tolentino on July 7, 2022. So, what's its background? So, ba't ginawa ang Senate Bill number 173? The bill was created because many traditional practices, cultural arts, medicines, designs, and indigenous knowledge are being copied or used without permission or recognition. Some foreign companies and individual profit from their cultural resources without giving benefits to the communities where they originated. The government recognized the need to protect Filipino cultural heritage, and intellectual property, especially those belonging to indigenous peoples and local communities. Now, what is under this uh, Senate Bill number 173? So, ano ang laman nito? So, the bill includes the following important provisions. One is protection of traditional knowledge and cultural expressions from unauthorized use. The next is recognition of the rights of indigenous people and local communities over their cultural heritage. Then regulation on the use of genetic resources such as plants, herbs, and other natural resources in these indigenous areas. Yeah. Requirement of consent from communities before their cultural knowledge or resources can be used commercially. Then amendment to the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines to strengthen cultural protection laws. So, what is its impact or sino yung maapektuhan nitong mga law na to? The bill may affect, first would be the indigenous people and cultural communities. Then we have the researchers and scientists, the businesses using local cultural products or natural resources that exploits them. Then we have the artists and creators. Then of course, the government agencies handling intellectual property and cultural affairs. If passed, communities will gain stronger legal protection and may receive proper recognition and benefits from the use of their traditions and resources. Then what is its importance? Okay, so Senate Bill number 173 is important because it helps preserve Filipino identity, cultural and heritage. It promotes respect for indigenous communities and prevents exploitation of their knowledge and traditions. The bill also supports cultural preservation for future generations and encourages fair sharing of benefits from the from the use of local resources and traditions. So, the benefits of this Senate bill is that our cultural heritages or resources also would be protected from those that use it without permission, no? Especially the foreign countries that exploits everything from these indigenous peoples. So that's all for me of Senate Bill number 173. So, thank you everyone.
Senate Bill number 1196, so Magna Carta for Person with Disabilities Amendment. So, magandang araw po sa lahat. Ang topic po na ito ay tungkol sa Senate Bill number 1196 na tumatakay sa Magna Carta for Person with Disabilities. So, sa simple explanation po, ang bill na ito ay isang panukulang batas sa Pilipinas na naglalayong protektahan at palakasin ang karapatan ng mga person with disabilities o PWDs. Ang focus nito ay para masiguradong equal access sa education at may strong anti-discrimination protection para sa mga PWDs sa ating lipunan. So, bakit nga ba ginawa ang batas na ito? Ginawa ang batas na ito dahil hanggang ngayon, maraming mga PWDs na nakararanas ng hindi patas na pagtrato. Halimbawa, may mga school na hindi fully accessible para sa mga student na may disability. May mga workplace na hindi sila sumatanggap ng mga may disabilities. At may mga discrimination pa rin sa public place o kahit araw-araw na interaction. Dahil dito, nakita ng mga gobyerno na kailangan pa ng mas malinaw at mas matibay na batas upang protektahan ang kanilang rights at bigyan sila ng equal opportunities. So, ano nga ba ang nilalaman ng bill na ito? Equal access to education. Isa sa pinaka-importanteng part ng bill ay ang equal access education. Ibig sabihin, dapat lahat ng mga PWD student ay makapag-aral ng walang hadlang. Kailangan may accessible facilities tulad ng ramps, elevator, at special learning materials. Dapat din may inclusive education kung saan kasama sila sa regular classes without proper support. So, goal nito ay hindi dapat ma-left out ang mga sa education system. So, anti-discrimination policies. Ang isa sa pinaka-importanting bagay ay ang anti-discrimination policy. Ibig sabihin, bawal ang anumang uri ng diskriminasyon laban sa PWDs. Sa school, workplace at public place, dapat may pantay ang treatment. Dapat pantay ang treatment. So, kapag may lumabag, may kaukulang penalties o parusa. So, basically, prinoprotektahan nito ang dignity at karapatan ng bawat PWD. So, sino nga ba yung mga maapektuhan? Ang bill nito ay makaapekto sa maraming sektor tulad ng mga person with disabilities, mga estudyante na may disability, sa mga school at universities, mga employers at companies, at pati na rin ang buong community. So, sa positive side, mas nagiging inclusive at mas fair ang society, pero sa mga institution naman, kailangan na lang mag-adjust at mag-improve ng facilities at policies. So, bakit nga ba ito mahalaga? Mahalaga ang Senate Bill 1196. Pinapakita nito na ang bawat tao ay may karapatang mabuhay ng may respeto, dignity at equal opportunity. So, hindi hadlang ang disability para makapag-aral, makapagtrabaho o makapag-contribute sa society. Sa pamamagitan ng batas na ito, mas nababawasan ang diskriminasyon at mas napapalakas ang awareness ng mga tao tungkol sa rights ng PWDs. So, sa kabuuan, ang Senate Bill number 1196 ay isang malagang hakbang para sa isang inclusive at makataong Pilipinas. It reminds us na ang tunay na progress ng isang bansa ay nasusukat kung paano neto pahalagahan ang mga vulnerable groups tulad ng mga PWDs. Salamat.